G'day everyone, it's Matt Rard here from the eBusiness Institute, where we teach people how to both buy and build websites, and specifically we teach beginners. Now, today is a really interesting interview because one of the things we've noticed over the last 10 years of running the eBusiness Institute, we're a private training organisation that specialises in teaching people very specific digital skills, which is how to make money online through buying and building websites. And what's happened over the last 10 years, we generally, as most of you know, train corporates or professionals, or let's call them adults, an older community, older members of our community, who typically have kids and wanting to get out of working long hours and things like that to start earning money online. But what's happened is we also end up training their kids. And so now, over the last 10 years, we're very lucky in that we have quite a few younger people who are learning this skill, and not only learning the skill, but interestingly, if you're a parent, you're going to find this really, really interesting. A lot of our younger people are deciding to skip university because it's so expensive and time consuming, and they just do our course and they do our training, and then they go out there and they use this career in the digital space and they do this full time. And so today we have one such student, in fact, our star student in that, I guess, in that cohort of young people who've been with us for many years. And I thought, what a great opportunity to speak to Kristen, because not only is she one of our star students, she's also our youngest student ever who started with us. I believe it's a lot longer than what I realised, Kristen. So, Kristen, I want to say a big thanks for coming along today and agreeing to do this interview with us.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, well, as a lot of people in our community already know you, but normally they know you because you're in tow with your mum and dad who've been with us for many years, Rosemary and Stuart, who they were like the normal people that we train. Your mum's a teacher, isn't she? Your dad's a chef.
Yeah.
Working long hours, wanting to get out of it. So you saw your mum and dad going through that journey. And Kristen, I know, so I'm going to say your age. So you're fine with me saying your age, aren't you? You're now 20, aren't you?
Yeah, 20.
And when did you first start with us? When did you first hear about Matt and Liz?
I started with Matt and Liz when I was 12, just through my parents brought me to their events. And so, yeah, that's kind of how it started.
That is awesome. And yeah, so they brought you along to it. So you're presumably a little bit smaller back then, little 12-year-old coming along, going, what the hell's all this buying website stuff and learning about websites? And then fast forward through to today, you now 20 years old, you haven't gone to uni, have you?
No, I left school during year 11 and I was able to just continue on with what I had been learning with eBusiness, and yeah, it kind of just went from there. So it was really cool.
So now you work online full time with your mum and dad. So you work with them in the digital agency that they've set up out there in Parramatta?
Yeah. So just getting to work alongside them. I work a lot with clients and building their websites, getting them up and running online. So it's really exciting getting to work with so many different industries.
Yeah, just absolutely incredible. So I'm just thinking, where do we start here, Kristen, with everyone? Because it was fun catching up with you guys the other day when I was in Sydney face to face, and that's what got me thinking about this, realizing, wow, you've got a story to tell here, because most would, you not only skipped university to do this full time, I think we'll go back even a little step more. And I can remember when you guys were asking, should you do this? You actually skipped year 12 as well, didn't you? You stopped school in year 11 to do this full time. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I started taking the website stuff seriously in year 10. And so I'd kind of decided that's the path I wanted to take. So got a bit of a head start with it.
And when did you, so how old were you when you could build your first website? Let's start at the beginning.
Yeah, so I built my first website when I was 15. I started coming to the events at 12, and it took a few years, I think, to get used to everything, get my head around it. But yeah, 15, I built my first site. And
so then in year 11, you decided to quit school. Was that an unusual decision for you and your family and amongst your friends, say?
Yeah, I think it was. It's something I'd been thinking about for a little while before actually making the decision. But yeah, I think it took a few people by surprise.
Myself included.
Yeah, yeah.
So for the record, I suggested maybe don't quit school, but I'm presuming the reason you quit because, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, at that age, were you already thinking quite entrepreneurial? Did you want to be an entrepreneur? What was the influence there? Why? Because obviously you're super smart. You could easily, and I want to point that out to any parents listening here. Kristen is one super smart young lady. Okay, she could easily blitz it at school. It's got nothing to do with the marks or anything like that. What was you thinking? Why did you want to quit school and not go to uni either?
I just saw it as an opportunity to do something that was maybe a little unusual, especially in the circles that I was part of at school. And, being surrounded by people like Matt and Liz and people with a very entrepreneurial mindset kind of opened up a different doorway, I suppose. And I thought, we'll see how we go, just, take a risk. And I haven't looked back. It's definitely a decision I was happy to make.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so it's because it is amazing to watch your journey. Liz and I know, and everyone, like I said, in our community, especially in Champions, know your journey and have watched you develop so much over these years. What's one of the main? So you look back over the journey, right? And you think back, I would suggest then, so around year 11, you got really serious about this and you're thinking, okay, I'm not going to do the normal job 9 to 5 thing. And we'll talk about what your mum said there in a minute. But when you started out, and if there's other kids listening here, let's put you on the spot here because you're an adult now, right? What advice would you have for a teenager, say 16 to 17, considering the university course? Like, if they're studying hard for year 12 and they're thinking about going to uni, do you have any, insights for them or advice for someone in that position?
I would say it depends on kind of what path you're wanting to take. Like for me, I was very clear about wanting to take an entrepreneurial route, but I think so if you're very clear that that's the kind of route you want to take, then go for it and see where it leads. I think there's a lot you can get out of going to uni. So, it's definitely, there's a lot of value in that. It just really depends on what direction you're looking to take. But, there's a lot of value in putting yourself out there and you never know what might happen and what opportunities could come up.
And one thing, well, let's mention, I think I should point out to particularly any parents listening, one of the reasons why Kristen, I think, was so clear on her decision to not only not go to uni, but also quit school, was because, Kristen, I know back then your mum and your dad were, I'd like to say dragging, but you went willingly, taking you along to lots of these workshops. You're coming to a lot of our events. You're meeting people in our community. You were hanging around with a lot of entrepreneurial adults. That must have influenced you quite heavily, I'm guessing.
Yeah, definitely. Just getting to see a whole bunch of people who are already out there doing it. A lot of people in Matt and Liz's community that I really used to look up to when I was getting started. So I'd kind of see what they were doing and I'd think it'd be really cool if I could do that too.
Awesome.
And for sure, just getting out there and networking with people.
Yeah, so you had some good role models. And I'm going to give some advice to any young people listening. I highly recommend you do what Kristen did here. So you're only like 16. Well, you started when you're 12, but once you got active with our community, now when you think about it, you're quite young, hanging out with all these adults. Like I said, typically people who are parents looking to quit their jobs, they're already working in the big corporate roles and stuff. And you're kind of looking at them going, oh, wow, they're doing this journey as well. So, and remember back then too, that we didn't have a lot of young kids on our program, did we?
No, not really. There's a few, but
There was a
Yeah.
few, but it's more in recent years. And I was saying to you before, like Jasmine, she and Jack, who he did the same as you. He's a few years older than you, and Jasmine. They've all gone ahead and done the same. Didn't bother going to uni. They've just done this digital training. So, out of interest, you're talking about the community, people that inspired you. Who were some of the people that inspired you in our community? We'll give them a shout out.
Yeah, people like Lucy and Gary, Chris Smith, Caleb and Jen, Jack and Daryl, Nathan and Alexa. A bunch of the Ultimate Cup winners. Just seeing them on stage and talking about how they'd gone with their online journey was really inspiring for me. So I would definitely look up to them and think, oh, it'd be cool to do what they're doing, get to become friends with them at some point. So
And well done, Kristen. And now you're one of them. You are one of our star students. Literally, you've won the Ultimate Champions Cup, like the eBusiness's highest award. You're like Student of the Year. You're one of them. You now inspire all the other people as well. Particularly, I'm guessing a lot of our younger listeners who may have just started the course or are coming on board. So, big congratulations. You should be proud of yourself.
Thank you. That was really exciting. Yeah. I was like, I can't believe this is happening. But it was really cool.
It is a nice way to look back at the journey. And that's why I'm interviewing you today, because I think we both realised, and with your mum and dad, we realised the other day, wow, look at the journey you've been on. And I know, Kristen, another thing that really impresses all the adults, let's call them adults, the older people in our community, they are really impressed with the changes that you've made. One of the key things you do now is you get out there and do a lot of public, you're working with, adults, advising them on their businesses and their digital marketing strategy. And one of the things you're very involved in, I know, is with BNI.
Yeah, BNI has definitely played a big part in getting me where I am today. I started going to my first BNI meetings probably end of 2018, just visiting and getting my confidence up, and then eventually joined. And it was out of my comfort zone for quite a while. I had to force myself to network and get out there, but now I've gotten to meet a whole bunch of different business people that I wouldn't have otherwise gotten that introduction to. Just getting to advise the people I've met through that on their websites has been really cool opportunity. Kind of gives you an insight into so many different industries online as well. So it's been great.
And not only that, you're in a leadership role.
Yeah, so I've been asked to take on a couple of leadership roles, including being an ambassador and a visitor host, which is really good. Wow. Just getting to greet everyone as they come through the door. So it's really a good opportunity to push myself further as well.
Because one of the things I want to say, Kristen, and for any parents listening as well, watching you develop, both Liz and I and everyone else in our community who've been around with you for many years, we've all seen you develop from, let's not get ourselves, you were super shy. You were, and I'm allowed to say that because I used to be like that as well. But that's why I'm so proud of what you've done and realizing, wow, Kristen is just like, it's chalk and cheese who you are today and what you're achieving. You've got to realize that when us adults look at you, we used to see you as this little 14, 15-year-old, really shy and quiet, hiding behind mum and dad and everything. Now to seeing you come out of your shell, and not just because of the skills that you've learned here, but also I think because of the mindset that you've learned here and hanging around all these adults, what a way to develop. And that's what you shared at our last boot camp too. What a way to develop at this age. Like I keep saying, I wish I knew the stuff that you've learned at the age 20 as an entrepreneur. Man, I would have blitzed it as an entrepreneur way earlier than what we did. I was a late starting entrepreneur. So to see what you've achieved already by the age of 20 and to see you take this career path has just been phenomenal.
Oh, thank you. And I've learned so much from Matt and Liz, and it's thanks to them that I've had all these opportunities that I don't take for granted. So it's been really cool.
Oh, that is super cool. Let's ask another thing now that I will mention as well, because it's really important, Kristen. Not only are you, so out of our strategies, you, your mum and your dad, you guys are obviously running an awesome digital agency now, and you're very much part of that. And just so you know, parents, Kristen is the one who's negotiating with business owners. That's what I was just talking about. What an education for a young person to get. Formerly shy person now negotiates, and not only negotiates, but also advises full-on businesses. Some of these are quite big businesses. She walks in there and tells them what to do and how to, well, shares with them what maybe they should think about doing and how they can fix up their website. So that's impressive in itself. But not only that, Kristen, another skill that you're right into that obviously you've been following for many years is building and buying passive websites. That's a passion for you as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So I love the digital agency side of it. Then the portfolios, another side of it, and you kind of get that creative freedom to run it however I like, and just getting to, if I've just built it from scratch, it's really exciting to see it go from the ground up and see that progress, and then some of the ones I've bought, getting to work on them and bring out their potential, and it's always a work in progress, but yeah, it's really exciting, getting to work on something for yourself as well.
So it must be pretty cool as a 20-year-old. Do you talk to your friends about it? You say, hey, I invest in websites, or, you know, you're building this portfolio of passive, let's call them semi-passive websites, because you do work on them a lot, don't you? But is it pretty cool to say to your friends, hey, I invest in websites? It'd be pretty different, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think some of my friends, I don't probably know much about what I do, but other people I've mentioned it to are very intrigued at the idea of investing in the online space. So it's cool to be able to talk about.
Do you keep your own website separate from your mum and dad? Do you have your own websites as well?
Yeah, I've got a few of my own portfolio ones. A lot of them are kind of a team effort, but it's good to have a couple of my own as well to just move them in any kind of direction that I want. Yeah.
And then so you can go into passion niches that you like and all that. Exactly like what we teach.
Yeah, definitely.
And I know some of the sites because I've helped you on them, and it's seriously impressive. And watching that traffic go up and watching the results coming, they're really nice assets to be sitting on. I mean, really, it is like money in the bank as well. Having those website assets, they're highly valuable. As you see, what was it? One of our latest members just sold a startup site for 20 odd grand. You know, similar to the sites that you're making.
Yeah, it's really cool to see the potential that's there and to watch the kind of curve go up as well. And yeah, hearing stories like that one is really cool and motivating as well.
And you mentioned, actually, that leads me to another point. Like, I know someone inspired you was Nathan and Alexa, and you've seen them do that with their portfolio sites that they've bought, you know, build them up. And, you know, you guys, that's the other cool thing at your age, you're already in joint ventures with some of our other champions.
Yeah, that was, something that came up, and I was like, yeah, why not? It's such a cool opportunity to share ideas with each other as well. And you kind of share the load and you input, you know, your different areas of, I guess, where your strong points are. You can all kind of contribute in different ways. So it's really cool to be able to collaborate.
Yeah, that is super cool. So I think all these amazing skills that you've learned. So let me ask you a couple of final questions that I think will help anyone listening to this, whether, you know, deciding what do they do here. Because now that you look back over what you've learned, going back to this idea of whether or not you go to uni, do you reckon this is a course that would work? You could do part-time whilst you're studying at uni as well?
Yeah, definitely. I remember when I started off in Champions, I was in year 10, and so I would get up at 3:30, 4 a.m. and watch a few webinars, build a couple of websites, and then go to school. So I think yeah, you just manage your time around it, and it's definitely something that you can do as well as uni, and it's totally worthwhile.
Awesome. That's really, that gives people a lot of insights there. If you're driven and you've got that goal, you can do it regardless. So, Kristen,
Yeah.
different sort of a question. This is kind of a bit of a bigger one. As a 20-year-old, and you've been around us now for a long time, and you've got quite a different outlook on this than I think most people who don't understand what we all do here, like investing in passive websites. I'm interested, what does passive income mean to you now that you're a 20-year-old?
I think it kind of gives you a sense of freedom and being able to, I guess, take on different opportunities that come up. And yeah, having that passive income also means that you can invest in other things, try out, different opportunities that come up. And what else would I say? I think it kind of alters your mindset a bit of knowing that you don't necessarily have to take a 9 to 5. You can, live a laptop lifestyle, I suppose you could call it, kind of, on your own terms, which is really exciting, getting to kind of design the life that you want. Yeah.
That is super cool. And I know, Kristen, your mum, I'm going to read out a quote, right? This is what your mum said. Mum says, Kristen flat out refuses to ever do a 9 to 5 job. So there you go. It's interesting that you bring that up in the interview. I love how Rosemary says that. She said you're quite serious about that. So yeah, you are definitely not ever doing the 9 to 5 thing, are you?
No, I think I did a 9 to 3 for a couple of months. That's I think the closest I got. But yeah, to me, it's important to be able to, live a lifestyle of your choice, and this allows you to do that, which really excites me.
Yeah, that is super cool.
Yeah.
Hey, and one other interesting question. I'm interested to see what a 20-year-old says who's now been through this course and been with us for so many years, and you've got these digital skills through training in that space, right? So you know how to buy and build websites. Okay, Kristen, the theoretical, all right, well, it's not so theoretical really, but what would you do if you had $10,000 to invest today? So if you're someone new coming onto this course, one of our older people who've got, that typically that sort of money to invest, what would you do if you were new to our course and you were going to be investing 10 grand today? What would you do? Actually, not new to our course, just as a 20-year-old, what would you invest 10 grand into today?
Put it into a website, have a look at what's available, and have a look at different options. If I was just starting out in the online space, I think, investing in what Matt and Liz are teaching as well is super valuable. And take on the Champions course and have a look at the online website brokerage platforms to see what's out there. And because you invest now and then it comes back to you multiple times over. And the online space is always growing and changing, and there's so much opportunity out there. So I think it's the place to go at the moment.
That is super cool. Thank you so much, Kristen. It's really cool to hear from, particularly yourself. You're in a very unique position that you've been around us for so long and more importantly, been around our whole community. So you know everyone, and everyone knows and loves you like that, and they've seen you develop so well. And I do want to say a big congratulations of where you're at today. And I know some of the websites that obviously I'm coaching you and your mum and dad on a couple of websites in particular. You guys have got some very big, successful portfolio sites as well. And that must be mind-blowing for a 20-year-old to just watch these AdSense sites and stuff, and that the big directory site that you guys are working on as well take fold, and seeing all that money come in. So I want to say a big congratulations, learning, over these years, learning the skills, taking this path. It's awesome. I'm sure you are going to absolutely blitz it, Kristen, in the years to come. Can't wait to do another update interview. We're going to have to do an update interview with you every year or every couple of years, I reckon. You up for that?
Yeah, I'm up for that. That sounds
awesome.
Good.
Yeah, well, you're helping to inspire lots of people now. So yeah, I bet you never thought of that when you were like in year 11, thinking, oh, I'm going to be inspiring everyone like you were talking about the other people that went ahead to inspire. So I do want to say a big thank you for that as well. Coming and speaking at our events and things, and sharing openly with people what you do is just awesome. So big thank you, Kristen, for that. And guys, if you want to go deeper into what Kristen has learned over the years, like the Digital Investor Program, obviously, as Kristen said, consider checking it out. But at the very least, make sure you sign up for our free masterclass on our website. We go through our exact strategy, the same strategy that Kristen and her mum and dad have learned over the years, which is we teach you how to buy, how to build, and how to sell websites. And it's a digital skill for the future, I believe in very, very strongly. And as you heard, Kristen believes in it very strongly. She's living proof. She's doing this full time now without ever going to university. But a big thank you, Kristen, for helping inspire so many of our community, and we'll see you on the next interview.
Thanks for having me. It's always great to chat, and always inspired by what you guys are teaching. So thank you.
Thanks, Kristen. Awesome.